A Gyepi evening it is, my sweet sunbuns. It's Gyepi. Gyepi morning, Gyepi day, Gyepi afternoon, Gyepi night, whatever Gyepi may be working the best for you. I'm here once again to continue Camp W or Camp V. I'm not sure how to read this title. The summer camp adventure where us are now playing as a kid witch that is not willing to pursue what her mother is willing to accomplish because her mother is way too strict and whatnot. So we're in the middle of the woods and then saw this circle that seems to have taken us to another world, the world of the humans. And now we're pretending that we were supposed to be at this summer camp and we're trying to see what it is like to live like a human. Together with us we got a chunky squirrel to accompany us on this adventure, so let's proceed once again. Okay, there we are. Wait a second, I wanna be a bit larger for you. Okay, because big head, big brain, even though it does have a tiny single brain cell. Today it is not mounted yet, so big brain time it is. Let's move on to the game. Please let me know in case there are any issues with the audio levels. And let's go. Let's let the previous save. There we are. This is my masterpiece. For years I've been crafting my very own rock opera, and now it's finally finished with some help from paper. Alright, we're about to attend a music event. Well, your thoughts were older, I just hope that you organized them. Don't be modest, Piper here is a bit of a theater geek. Who are you calling geek? I'm a theater enthusiast. She's so pretty, by the way. I love her hairstyle. And the clothing style as well. This thing took years, huh? It's not very long, 5 pages. It's not the page number that's important, it's the ideas in the pages. Okay, let's go. Singing time it is. It's all about a summer camp in a post-apocalyptic world. The campers are the only survivors left on Earth, and they must decide whether to let the world die with them or work together to forge a utopia out of the ashes. All that in 5 pages? A lot of it's improvised. Wilfred, I want you to play the villain because, well, typecasting. Now, the villain is an evil camp director bent on destroying what joy remains in the world. Like this one is a tiny character, but he seems to be very much like a mini. Hi Chainsaw, hi, how are you doing? Hello Baba, nice to have you here, karaoke time. Not yet, but more or less. Something vaguely similar. Sid shows Wilfred toward a giant trunk of costumes marked evil attire. And Lil. We are Lil, by the way. A Lil. And Lil, I want you to play the new kid in camp. Again, typecasting. The hero represents the hopes and dreams of a better future. Since this is a rock opera, I'm going to use face paint to give you a totally glam look. Oh my goodness. Before you can object, Sid begins dabbing a huge paintbrush into some wild colors. What color would you say your aura emanates? Bluish purple. Let's go with red. Yellow? No, green. Let's go with red. It's definitely... Let's go with red. Totally red. Interesting, I can work with that. You're almost instantly covered in cold wet paint. Is this house paint? It's an old family recipe, but maybe avoid swallowing any. I love her sickening faces. Poor Bebeto. Okay. Without a mirror nearby, you have no idea what you look like, but Sid looks very pleased with the outcome. Okay, so what's this rock opera called? That's the thing, it doesn't have a name. Why should art have a name? Would you name a river or a sunset? Well, the rivers do have a name, but still. No, that's dumb. It needs a name. All plays have names. I'm going to side with Ruby here. The play really should have a name. Fine, Philistines. Hey, newbie, since you're the star, how about you name it? What would you like to call the rock opera? Camp Rock! Sorry. Shh, silence, you clamorous campers. Camp loud now, the unhushed opera, the echoless whisper of yesterday's future. Ooh. What does that mean? Camp loud now. Okay, let's go. This one seems to be more similar to Camp Rock. Let's go. Camp loud now, the unhushed opera. Really? That's what you want to call it? Maybe we should all come up with the name together. Too late, Lil has spoken. Too late. Whatever. Now I want you all to take your scripts, memorize them, and meet back here tomorrow to begin rehearsals for Camp Loud Now, the unhushed opera. What if we don't want to meet back here tomorrow? That's okay too. Just go where the muses take you. Yeesh. And I thought Todd Frittata was dramatic. Todd Frittata, okay. You look down at your script. Your part has been highlighted. There's only 2 lines to memorize, the rest is just stage directions like feel the drama, act like there's no tomorrow, what the hell, and improvise your own reality. Before leaving, you glance in the mirror. Sid has really outdone himself. Something tells you that Sid won't remember exactly what he designed, so you sketch it in your grimoire for reference later. Sweet. Oh my goodness. Okay. The sun begins to set outside the music and dance hut. It's time to head out to the nighttime activity. You join your bunkmates as they head to the edge of the woods to meet up with Todd Frittata. Oh, so there was a typo. It's Frittata, who is actually the boys' head counselor and a super chill-natured dude. Nugget follows at a distance, hopping among the branches above. We find Todd sitting on a tree stump, legs crossed, in a moment of serene meditation, doubled by the setting sun's last rays. He perks up as soon as the campers arrive. What the heck? Alright kids, I gathered you here today for a very important and, extremely dramatic reason. Seems to be a very outgoing one. Boy's head counselor seems pretty harmless. Okay. What's with that drawing? Is that a tree trunk or a foot with a plant? I hate no idea. It does look like some foot to me. Prepare to journey deep into the unknown. To face off against nature. To peek behind the velvet green curtain of the majestic forest and see inside yourselves. It's just a nature walk, Todd. We do it on the first night of camp. Every year, it's on the schedule. Todd thinks everything's a journey deep into the unknown. Sid pantomimes drinking from a very, very small straw and wings so big that astronauts can probably see his subtle move from the International Space Station. Is it just a nature walk, or is it something more? It's definitely just a nature walk. In fact, last year you woke up as true poison oak, and when we got back, we had to use the camp's entire oatmeal supply and take a huge bath in it together. Sometimes I still wake up in the middle of the night itching. I can almost smell the maple syrup right now. Nobody told you to use the flavored version, Wilfred. It's getting dark out, maybe we should start our stroll into the unknown before we're eaten by wolves, that is. You don't need to be scared of wolves, man. Wolves are just Mother Nature's dogs. Our wilderness guide, ladies and gentlemen. The cracking of branches and ruffling of leaves off in the distance startles the troop. And we're off! Todd leads the campers marching into the woods. It's serene, but definitely a little spooky. Fireflies! So pretty. Spooky too. Once they're out of sight of the camp, Todd begins to speak. He starts off quietly, as if sharing the details of a secret conspiracy. As is the tradition of Camp Gyepi, it is time for our new campers to learn the legend of the Bear-Claw bracelet. Well, I was talking about Bob Marley. But yeah, we can talk about the Bear-Claw bracelet, you got it. It all began with the pioneering camper who first held it as his totem, Edward McGrupkin. An awed hush rose through the ground. Campers can only whisper his name, McGrupkin. I'm just gonna ask then, what's a Bear-Claw bracelet? It's only the most sought after award in all of camp history. Only one camper has ever earned it, which is a little misleading, since he technically invented it. Jealous much, Sid? So it was Ruby? I'm just saying, it's not a traditional badge, it's more like a great honor. A great honor that, regardless of her super strength zeal for being better than others, even Ruby can seem to earn. Oh, Ruby goes red with rage and whips out a badge-covered sash, holding it an inch from Sid's face. You wanna talk badges, Sid? How about these badges? It's clear that Ruby has earned just about every badge there is to earn, a fact that she manages to point out almost hourly. The burglar bracelet, however, has still eluded her teeny grasp for so many summers. So it wasn't her. Whoa, chill out, you two. Unless you want me to revoke your good vibes badges. Oh, you mean this Grateful Dead patch I asked you not to iron on my sash? The very same. Now, back to the story at hand. One bracelet, please. Burglar what now? Edward McGrabkin. Edward. Who is this Edward McGrabkin character? Edward was a camper just like you once. Well, like you but taller. Way back when Camp ᴄᴏᴍᴍᴜ first opened. Edward McGrabkin is a legend. He's the single greatest camper to have ever attended this camp by a mile. We looked into it, and according to our research, Edward McGrabkin isn't actually real. He's certainly something of a folk hero in these parts, but while there are many anecdotal mentions of him, they can all be traced back to other former campers. No official records bear his name. Birth, death, water rose, nothing. So he's a ghost? I knew it. I knew this camp would be the death of me. Am I a ghost right now? What the heck? Maybe we'll all actually die in this woods together and we're doomed to walk the forest for an eternity. Listen to Ruby brag about badges. A fate somehow worse than death. I'll just say there were no birth or death records with that name. How could McGrabkin be a ghost if he never lived or died? Don't trust everything you read online. I can assure you, Edward is very real. The first year Camp ᴄᴏᴍᴍᴜ opened up, it was just a small camp, still getting established. Edward was one of the first group of campers in attendance. It was just a mom-and-pop operation back then, and it was a lot more rustic than it is today. More rustic than this? The wood chip paths between the bunks are considered a luxury by modern American summer camp standards. One day, a giant grizzly waltzed into the dining hall and attacked the camp director head-on. The thing was rabid. Foaming at the mouth, no one could distract it or scare it away. It roared so low that it actually broke the glass windows. True story. You know that saying true story doesn't make a story true, right? They got a point. Edward sprang into action and saved everyone by fighting the beast to the death. In the process, he threw off the grizzly's paws and used them to go on the offensive, turning the tide of the battle. What the hell? Offensive is right, poor thing. Afterwards, they stuffed the bear, and now it stands as a tribute to Edward's bravery and the legacy of Camp ᴄᴏᴍᴍᴜ. And how do we know this all actually happened? Well, they took a photo that day, which you can see for yourself in the main hall. Photoshop hadn't been invented yet, so it's indisputable. The group finally arrives at a campsite, just out in the woods where the light of the main campus has faded into the distance. They'll spark some flint into the fire pit, and it lights up instantly. It's good to set your sights on the BCB, but let's not forget about all of the other badges up for grabs at Camp ᴄᴏᴍᴍᴜ. In fact, now is the perfect time to earn one. Everyone takes their seat in a circle around the flames. Wait. What were those red eyes? Oh, I see them! There are more! I really love the art style of the campfire animations of the flames, who like to unspool an epic yarn and earn themselves a campfire storyteller badge that places his flashlight just below his chin, casting a terrifying shadow over his face. Bonus points for scary stories, but not too scary. Cleaning all of your sheets every single morning is seriously bad for the environment. What the hell? Oh, I could tell the story of the Lakeside Institute for the Criminally Deviant, the abandoned insane asylum across the lake from camp. And on the story of the Shadow Man, he's a cursed old warlock who wanders the wood chip path across camp every night during the witching hour. Or have you heard the one about the, Well, they call her the bride, but the thing is, she never actually made it to her wedding before disappearing into the forest. So I guess they should really call her the fiancée. That doesn't sound scary, Sophie. The campers sit in silence, scared to speak up, as if they may invoke not only a story but a ghost itself. What about this Lakeside Institute? How about the bride or the fiancé? Who is this shadow man? Shadow man. Warlock, you say? Do tell. Wilfred stands up. His face goes pale. Well, paler. He takes a big gulp before launching into his story. Long ago, this land was home to one of the first colonies. The times were tough, but the people persevered, scraping together a meager living. One day, far, far away, no one knows where, a dark ship set sail from a distant port in the dead of night. It flew no flag, bore no name. What we do know is that months later, when it arrived at the shore of this land, it was empty but for one surviving passenger. The lone figure emerged from the ship, wrapped in black rags, a long, rugged hood covering his face. Barefoot and purposeless he wandered, eventually making his way inland toward this very place. A modest inn stood here at the time. It wasn't much, but it was a place for people to gather, finding strength among each other in their small community. Until the man arrived, so dark and frail, his figure stretching into the doorway like a long bent shadow. But the shadow man said nothing, asked for nothing. The people in the inn tried to speak to the shadow man, but he would not answer them. They offered to feed the man, bath him, wrap him in fresh clothes, if only he would remove his hood and show his face to them, but he would not. Then go, the innkeeper said. If you will not show your face, if you do not trust us to treat you with compassion, then we shan't. But the shadow man did not move. The people at the inn grew furious. They shouted at the man, waved their hands, held pans and fair-placed pokers in the air, but the shadow man still did not move. You make monsters out of us, shouted the innkeeper. But what kind of monster are you? And he reached out and pulled at the shadow man's hood. At that moment, the shadow man's dark rags fell away from him, his makeshift robe, tumbling to the floor, revealing no clothes underneath. A leg gnarled, twisted body, covered in scars and sores. But he did not reveal his face, for he did not have one. The people gasped at the sight of him, and as they opened their mouths, the shadow man raised his hand and pulled the souls out of each and every man, woman, and child at the inn that night. Feeding on their spirits, the shadow man grew strong, his body rebuilding itself right there on that spot in the doorway of that inn, and so he walked still naked, off into the night. Nikki? Is that legal? They say that the shadow man's robes pulled off and abandoned, rose up into the air and flew away from that place looking for their owner. And those robes, like the shadow man himself, still walked among the streets where that old town once stood, awaiting his return to clothe his monstrous body once again. But those streets were replaced as the years went on, and have since become the witchy paths of Camp Gyepi. The campers all peer over their shoulders to the pathways leading in and out of the campgrounds. What's that him? The shadow man? A shiver runs down your spine and thoughts of his dark robes fill your mind. You capture your sinister vision on a page in your grimoire. Ooh, fucking spooky. With the story complete and total darkness hovering all around them, the campers sit in stunned silence. Why am I smiling too? Oh, okay. No longer smiling, I see. So, before Tom can revive their spirits, a loud crack pops in the distance and echoes all around a classic. The campers snap to their feet, graham crackers scatter on the ground, marshmallows are flung through the air. It's an actor. Get it together, Wilfred, it's not a ghost. At least, it's highly unlikely that it is. Paranormal activities are notoriously hard to prove, beyond a reasonable doubt. However, Ezzy and I have been working on some new high-tech gear that aims to finally solve that puzzle. Everyone reacts to the potential visitation in their own way, scattering in different directions. Before you're left behind, you need to choose where you'll go. I'm out of here. I ain't afraid of no ghost. The truth is out there. The truth. Before you can make heads or tails of this ghost encounter, other campers around you jump into action. Your eye catches a green glow being cast behind you. When you turn, you see the twins Ella and Elizabeth in the neon light. Electromagnetic field matter. Online. Wide-angle infrared night vision camera. Rolling. Machine that doesn't do anything but just looks really cool. As it tosses you some sort of really cool looking piece of technology, you have no idea what it does. Does that matter? Looking cool. Seems like we don't care if that works or not. The two of them have somehow already assembled a mobile command unit with electronic tools, sensors and LED monitors. I swear this equipment wasn't here a second ago. You get used to it. In the past 100 years, dozens of huge cash prizes have been offered for proof of the paranormal. Millions of dollars up for grabs. And yet, none has come forward with concrete evidence and claimed any of these prizes. If ghosts do exist, we aim to find out and collect that cash to fund new research. Always some sort of metallic wand about, a pulsing light blinking at the very end of it. I'm getting a lot of activity in the northwest sector. We definitely haven't encountered anything like this before. As she follows her signal, she begins to walk in your direction. These readings, they're off the charts. A seemingly endless sheet of paper rolls out of nearby machine covered in scratched graphs etched out by a rapidly swinging arm. This thing better not be able to tell if a person is lying. I need you all to believe me when I say that each and every one of you is my favorite camper. Honest! Ella continues to wave her device around and makes a loud beeping sound every time it swings past you. Oh no. Ghostbusters. Na. Each time you feel less and less comfortable with this little experiment. What could they be finding out? I think this thing is busted. Unless its main purpose is to measure s'mores breath. I maybe went a little overboard on the marshmallows and chocolate, sure, but we don't need to make a show of it. There's nothing to be afraid of. Since we upgraded this unit, the rate of radiation poisoning is incredibly low. Ella is practically jabbing you in the ribs with her device. It's humming at a constant pace, and she's giving you a very strange once-over studying you as you stand there frozen. This shirt can be right, Lil. Have you been involved in a paranormal experience? Ouch. Who? Me? What? Why? I never. I'm no ghost. I'm just a kid who loves melting chocolate onto other foods. The device is out of control, paper is spitting out of it at an alarming pace, and the end of the paper is showed over the edge of the fire pit, catching on fire. As it turns to face the blaze, and the light on the end of her wand beeps so fast that it actually bursts. The realms upon realms of charts and graphs are now completely engulfed in flame. My precious data! I think we've sensed it enough for one night. Shut it down. Resigned to living in a world with far too many unsolved mysteries, as he sighs defeatedly and presses a big red button. Fire-extinguishing foam floods out from one side of his command center, drenching the fire and putting it out completely. Ella picks up a yard of wet paper and wipes the foam away, eyeballing the results. Heat. It was measuring heat. I think some settings got altered in transit and it was accidentally set to recognize simple temperature, nothing more. Yes, that must be what happened. That's why it beeped when I approached you. I think that makes you the exact opposite of a ghost, hot-blooded and full of life. You can't help but wonder, was the experiment really a failure? Or did the twins device actually recognize that you aren't a normal human? Maybe it sensed traces of portal in your clothes. Or a certain talking squirrel who has been rubbing all over the inside of your bag. Thanks for helping keep us all safe in the dark. This is for you, you earned it. Todd reaches out to you with an open hand. There's something in his palm. It's a merit badge, a special reward for spirit boosting. Your first ever. Ooh, we got a badge. Good job. Now you might all be wondering, Todd, wasn't it established last summer that telling scary stories late into the night is actually extremely problematic behavior that can lead to recurring nightmares and long-term psychic trauma? First badge earned, yes. To which I say, yes, it was, conclusively. So that's going to be the end of tonight's spooky stories, but don't worry, the summer's just getting started! It's happy crab dance this time, because we're not eating any crabs within the game, fortunately. Todd begins to whistle a cute little ditty as he marches around the fire, ignoring the huddle of paranoid children that he filled full of sweets and they scared half to death. Back to the banks. Chocolate smeared, sugar dusted, and some still shaking, the campers make quick time back in their cabins, donning pajamas with record-breaking speed. You, however, have other things on your mind. You make like you're heading in, but let the door of the bank close without you in it. Hey Nugget, can you believe this place? Right, this place is creepy. It reminds me of those fairy tales about nice young witches encountering scary humans in the forest. I like it, there is so much adventure and so little learning. I think this place is pretty fun. Easy for you to say. You're not the one locked up all day in a smelly gym bag. Not that we've made your mother wait all day. What say we put a little distance between us and this bank and phone home? You find a quiet spot just beyond the tree line, out of hearing distance from the banks. It has been hours since you wandered off and you figure that your mom and Gaji must be worried sick about you. Gaji is our grandmother. Basically, everything has gone according to plan. Mila's gonna be pretty heated when you walk in so late. I've always been proud of my own ability to push her buttons, but you're a button pusher extraordinaire. Oh, to be young again. She'll be fine. Let's give her a ring and tell her we're coming home. Nugget takes a deep breath and prepares for an arcane ritual. It's time to initiate the Nugget phone. Too far away my feet may roam, I'm never truly far from home, for with me always is a gate, through which I may communicate. I call upon you, Nugget phone, connect me through this spectral zone. As you recite the words, Nugget's eyes close and a strange glow swirls around him. What the hell? That's creepy. Transmit my message loud and clear, so those who love me may hear. Nugget becomes still like a statue. He opens his mouth and out comes, well, like some kind of interdimensional walkie-talkie. Nugget has become a portal unto himself, transmitting your mom and Gaji's voices across space and time to you. Lil, where have you been? I've been worried sick about you. It's been hours. You completely missed dinner. I bet you got carried off by kobold. You really should have called home earlier. I know you can handle yourself, but that's no excuse not to check in with your poor old Gaji from time to time. I still saved you a slice of pie, too. I know, I'm sorry. I guess I got a little carried away and forgot. I'll be home soon, though. What kind of pie? Can the pie talk for a second? Where have you been? Oh, I was walking around with Nugget and we found some old stuff and got to looking around and trying out spells. Since you want me to stay on top of my studies and all, and I just lost track of time, I guess. If there's anything you want to tell us, now is the chance. Nugget is terrible at keeping secrets. Geez, there's no terrible secret, man. We were just out messing around. No dark magic or anything to be worried about. I'll head right home. I feel 100% confident you're hiding something. It's pretty much a sure thing at this point. But we still love you. Be safe, but make it snappy. As the connection cuts out, Nugget comes back to life, the strange aura from before fading. So what lame excuse did you feed them? I basically just mumbled until they gave up. Wind up. Precisely. I guess it's time to head back home. I thought you might be a little more broken up about leaving this human kids camp after such an intense, you'd say fun first day. Well, just between you and me, I plan on sneaking back in. Don't worry, I won't drag you along with me next time. Don't tell me this stuff, I need plausible deniability. Relax, now let's go hit up that portal home. It's not easy in the dark, but you find your way back to the side of the portal. Sure enough, there's your emergency whistle dangling from a tree branch, swaying ever so slightly in the breeze. I bet there is no portal too. So is this portal supposed to open itself, or is that your job? I said we'd figure out how to open it, and here we are, so hold your horses, right? Maybe it needs some kind of spell. Yeah, in general magic portals need some kind of magic spell. You dig around in your bag for any kind of ingredient that might help you out. I could probably use these things I found back in the witching realm. They were there when we opened it in the first time. In your hand you hold the locket and a small purple flower. Nobody ever taught you an incantation for this type of thing, so you roll with it. You thrust your fist out in front of you, close your eyes, and think portal opening thoughts, but nothing happens. If I recall correctly, there was an altar as well. I'm not sure those totems will have much effect on their own. It's weird. I don't really remember the moment that the portal itself opened. We were standing in the woods and everything was calm, and then there was a hole in the world, and a moment later we were here on the other side. May the other witch girl be involved, perhaps? Oh, remember, you got all ragey. Did a bit of shouting at anyone who would listen, which was just me at the time, but I rolled with it, and then you slammed your fist down. And then a portal opened. I've seen some things in my time. But it wasn't exactly a normal afternoon. Maybe you just need to harness a little of that energy you had. If I recall correctly, you're pretty peeved and shouting about witch months. Try that. I would, but I just don't feel like it. Missing out on witch camp all these years, I've always felt like a distance between me and the other kids at my school. But here, after just one day with the human kids, I feel no distance at all. It's like obviously there's more to life than getting perfect grades and being a famous witch. Those kids don't even know who my mom is, and they never will. It's just so wonderfully freeing. Am I making sense? It's called perspective, kid. You've seen the world from 2 dimensions. You're beginning to understand what depth is, seeing things from outside your regular point of view. There's no going back now. Figuratively, that is. Literally, we have to get back. Or your mom will come for us somehow, and it will not be pretty. But before I was so angry. I'm still not happy about the way she treats me, but I just don't have the energy for it anymore. I'm not sure I can do this. So what, we live in the human realm now? I mean, why not? Well, for one, none of the squirrels here get my jokes. Not for the rest of our lives, but just this summer, and maybe next summer. I mean, there's food, shelter, semi-adult supervision, and we're not even that far from home, technically. Mom wants me to study my magic. Okay, sure, I already cast one new spell today, and you have to admit, it was effective. Isn't that what she really wants? You're trading a fairy's needle with a logical leap. Your spell got a little girl pooped on. Your entire argument borders on nonsense. No way she buys it. Bet me. Oh my, now you're speaking my language. What's on the table? Labor, Mom calls us home. I become your summer servant. You spend the whole summer sitting on your fluffy orange butt, sipping the iced tea, while I wait on you, hand and foot. And if she has gone completely insane and tells you that you can stay, what's in it for you? I need a sidekick. If I find myself in any tight spots with these humans, you help, no questions asked. Woof, that sounds like a pretty open-ended request. Usually I wouldn't commit to something that broad. But you have 0 chance anyhow. And why should I believe you when you tell me what happens on this call? You know I can't hear you when I go hollow. If I lie when I do get caught, it's 5 summers of servitude. You're lucky that I love to gamble. Let's do this. Though far away my feet my room, I'm never truly far from home, for with me always is a gate, through which I may communicate. I call upon you, Nugget phone, connect me through the spectral zone. Nugget once again strikes his interdimensional calling pulse. As you recite the words, Nugget's eyes close and a strange glow once again swirls around him. Transmit my message loud and clear so those who love me most may hear. Nugget's eyes close but his mouth is open. You know your plan is terrible, so you just launch into it as fast as possible, hoping to brute force your way through. You want me to study magical summer? It's a deal. I decided to take your wishes seriously and focus on improving my witching abilities. By the end of this summer, I will have advanced a full grade through independent studies. For the sake of practice and my own sanity, I signed up for a summer camp. Before you say anything, Nugget has agreed to be my personal chaperone. I'll check in every day and... I knew you weren't telling me everything. You just went and signed up for a summer camp all by yourself? I never so much as got a brochure. Where is this camp and what kind of courses do they teach there? Do they know who I am? So much for fast talking. It's actually very close to home. You could say it's right on top of home, in fact. It's in the human realm. The human realm? Even as a hologram, you can feel the exasperation wafting off of Mila. Lil, slow down. A young witch doesn't just hop over to the human realm and have tea. What happened? Okay, I'll tell you. But you have to promise not to get mad and to take me seriously or I'll hang up. You know you can trust me and you know I trust you too. So I was on my walk when I came across this old altar with some offerings on it. There was a flower, a locket and a lock of hair. Gaji is trying to keep Mila out of the conversation, but there's no stopping her input. Oh well, doesn't that sound familiar? A window, mother? You left a window open to the other side where anyone can come across it? Shh! Sorry, honey, you were saying? So I was looking at the altar when, well, a portal opened and I kind of followed through it and Nugget followed to pull me back out, but it closed and now I'm at Camp ᴄᴏᴍᴍᴜ and everyone thinks I go here now. Camp ᴄᴏᴍᴍᴜ? That old? I've already made so many new friends. This kid, Sid, challenged me to catch a tatter tot from across the room, except it kinda hit me in the face, but it still showed him that I'm not afraid of anything. Then we sat around a campfire and I learned the story of the Shadow Man. He's some sort of ancient evil nudist who walks the wood chip path at night. I even earned a merit badge. I got the Ghostbuster badge on account of how I helped these really smart sciencey type kids monitor the camp for evil spirits, and I learned the story of Edward McGrabkin, the most famous camper in the history of camp, maybe of any camp. Humans are weird, but I like them. Can't they just stay? You know, this is a very big deal, Lil. You couldn't have expected us to just let you stay in the human realm or anywhere unsupervised for an entire summer. No, but hope. Hope beyond all hope. Hope like it's on sale and going out of style. I told you Nugget is here. I'm technically not far, and I promise to work harder on developing my skills as a witch than I've ever done. I'm making friends, real friends. It's so much fun. Also, and this is a big one, the portal sorta closed behind me, so I can't get back anyway. So please. Fine. What? Here are the conditions. No magic around humans, no one can know you're a witch. Staying safe is more important than practicing your abilities. You have to check in with us once a week. Once a week? Mom, have you lost it? We left Lil alone for one afternoon, and they ended up in the human realm. There's no telling where they could wind up in a whole week. I want daily check-ins at least, preferably twice a day. Fine. 2, at least daily check-ins. I want to hear from you every day, rain or shine. We reserve the right to yank you back to the witching realm whenever we see fit. You can do that? You bet your tush I can, and I will if you give me good reason. 4, have fun when you get home. We can and will push you through your studies harder than you've ever been pushed before. This is the price. These terms are non-negotiable. Mila is arriving at her mother, but her rapid pacing back and forth across the room means you can't hear what she says. It's safe to assume that she isn't entirely on board with this plan. Agreed! Okay, love you both. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Bye! You boop Nugget on his little frozen squirrel nose, hanging up the call before Mila can change the terms. Nugget comes to and immediately starts in on you. So, how are we getting back across? We're staying! I don't believe it. You're going to justify your mother's wishes? Gaji said I could stay. She said she laid out some ground rules, but I can stay. There has got to be more to it than this. I have to check in with them every day, so I guess we'll find out. So you get to spend your summer at camp, and I get to spend mine in a purse filled with empty gum wrappers. Great! You're absolutely beaming as you skip back through the campgrounds toward your bunk. Enter summer to do your own thing. In another dimension, there has definitely got to be more to it than this. You slip into the bunk, into your bed, and your eyes immediately grow heavy. It has been a long day, and some campers are asleep, while others are finishing up with bursting their teeth or jotting down notes about the day in their diaries. Left with your toes, the summer's incredible potential swirls through your brain. It's enough to keep you up the whole night. Nugget curls up against your leg, under the covers. Apparently he is less impressed that he is asleep and snoring in less than a minute. But before you can quit, slip off to join him in dreamland. Hop to newbie, but don't scream. You open your eyes to see a semicircle of campers staring back at you from the dark. Why would I? Shh! Robbie hisses at you in harsh but hushed tone. It's amazing what she can do with just a few measly decibels. Get dressed, but don't make a peep. The counselors haven't been asleep long. We don't want to wake them back up. Why would I scream? Is this some sort of hazing thing that human, camp kids do? Quite the opposite, actually. It's a bonding thing. We always sneak out on the first night and get up to something as a group. Without the counselors, I wouldn't usually condone this kind of rampant rule-breaking, but it is tradition. Everyone else is already up and waiting outside. What if the counselors notice we're gone? You hear a low snoring from the corner of the bunk. They've been out partying. Yeah, for some reason having fun makes them super tired. I'll explain it to you next summer. In the meantime, they're out like a light. They wouldn't notice an earthquake. Then why are we whispering? It's a sneaky out tradition. So what are we going to do out and do then? We could go down to the lake. What do you want to do there? You're a little young for skinny dipping. Nothing like that. Let's just say I've got a little surprise waiting for us there. We can go to the lake any old time. Let's do something special while the counselors are asleep. I've got a much better idea. 40 years ago, a time capsule was buried in the ground at exactly Camp Center. It's not supposed to be opened until 50 years have passed, but I reckon we could dig it up a little early. That seems like a pretty big breach of trust. Not to open it, of course, I'm not a monster, just to check on it and make sure it's safe. Then we rebury it for 10 more years. You wanna dig up a thing, only to bury it again. And she criticizes my idea of fun. Sheesh. Granted, those both sound like great late-night activities. Truly gripping stuff. Sarcasm. But I was thinking of something a little more of the here and now. The lake and the time capsule will both stay put, available for us to return to later. Meanwhile, the elusive Luciferize is but a momentary natural phenomenon, which is by no means guaranteed to stick around. Luciferize? Or as some call it, foxfire. It's quite magical to see in person. I last spotted some outside of the radio tower. Now, who's boring? If you're not excited by the prospect of bioluminescent fungi, well, I don't know what to tell you. You might want to get your head examined. I think fungi might have replaced someone's brain. You're gonna have to make the call, Lil. I dig history out of surprises. Who has two glowing green thumbs? History. If I must choose, and it sounds like I must, I choose the time capsule. The campers gather in the moonlight in front of Camp Center. Ruby has an old shovel, which she has already stepped into the ground at your feet. 40 years ago, campers just like us buried a capsule filled with their most prized possessions. Tonight, I've gathered you here to make our own mark on Camp ᴄᴏᴍᴍᴜ. Ruby, don't get me wrong. I love to dig holes in the ground. Miller straight up put my dog out of work. You should have seen him. All those bones hanging out of his mouth. My dog, on the other hand, was depressed for a whole week. But isn't digging up a grave sort of frown and a bone? And not scary, but okay, scary. It's not a grave, it's a time capsule. You're supposed to dig them up after a certain number of years. But display clearly says 2028 on it. Is that more like a recommended use by ID date or something? 5 years of piling on me for being a rule follower, and now everyone is taking their orders from a metal square in the ground? I'm down to open some ground, not as the camp we spirit. Miller, dig! Dirt splashes like a wave, and in no time at all Miller is standing at the bottom of a gigantic hole holding an old wooden chest. I found it! Miller hoists up the old wooden chest, the campers oh and ah. Ruby's eyes go wide, she's mesmerized. Look at it, it's so historical, poor, unadulterated Camp lore. We've got to open it. Whoa, I told you said you weren't going to open it. Yeah, but that was before I saw it. Just look at this thing. It's oozing with tradition. Why should some dopes from 10 years from now get to open it? I've got more spirit than anyone at Camp will ever have. I deserve the honor, I deserve the glory. Whatever, knock yourself out. Ruby unclasps a delicate antique chain from around her neck and removes a beautiful old skeleton key that she has been wearing the whole time. This key was handed down to me by the bossest camper of his generation, and I will hand it down to the bossest camper of the next. But for now, I'm in church and I'm opening this box. The campers crowd around and look on as Ruby puts the old key in and turns it. The glass pops open and the top of the box swings up. Inside it, they left us a piece of paper. It's a note. It says, "To the campers of the future, thanks for waiting 50 years to be pranked." Ruby crumples the paper up and tosses it. You've been wearing that key for how many years? Just for the last 5. The bros laugh so hard they fall down and roll into the freshly dug pit. Their laughter is muffled as Ruby begins to refill the hole with them in it. So what if the capsule was a dude? That key still makes a killer necklace. That's true, thinking positive. You decide to make a sketch of Ruby's key necklace. It really is cool, no matter what it unlocked. When you arrive back at the bank, you're so exhausted that you zombie walk straight to your bed without even opening your eyes. By the weight at the bottom of your back, you can feel that Naga didn't even make it that far. He's clearly passed out. You lift the little guy up and into bed, and as soon as your face touches the pillow, you join him in an in-progress drool off. I know that they're the ones at camp, and we're just the ones following along, so why am I so tired? Are you tired too? Okay, enough stalling. On with the show! The sun rises on day 2 of camp, so much for beauty rest. Somewhere off in the distance a rooster crows, but not too far off, because it's still loud enough to have woken you up. A rooster, really? That's gonna get old super quick. Ooh, okay, we get it, you're a rooster. Wow, that's an annoying sound. Nugget tumbles out of the covers and onto the floor. He quickly scrambles back into the bed before anyone sees him. It is amazing this rooster hasn't been eaten. Surely the rest of the animal world must find this crowing as obnoxious as Nugget, and you do, right? You resolve to cast some sort of silencing spell on it, but before you can grab your grimoire, under Loud's shocking scream, enters into the competition for most alarming morning announcement. This one is a lot closer to the bank, however. Sounds like it came from just outside. Anyone lucky enough to sleep through the rooster is definitely awake now. You and the other kids make their way out the front door of the bank to see what's going on. A sheet-covered figure is sitting at the picnic table on the deck. It isn't moving, but steam wafts off of it into the air above. It seems to be alive. You'd better watch it, Ghost. This is summer camp for the living. You're not welcome here. The ghostly figure begins to move. It turns and faces the campers. The bros snap into action, pushing to the front of the pack of campers. Can you kick a ghost, or will we fly right through it? Only one way to find. Shh! No yelling and definitely no kicking. The figure moves again slowly, lifting up the sheet to reveal... It's not a ghost at all, it's Piper. She was having some coffee beneath a bed sheet, hence the rising steam. Oh no, the ghost ate Piper! No, dummy, the ghost is Piper. Oh no, Piper died and turned into a ghost. I'm not a ghost, but this headache has me wishing I were. I'm going to need everyone to pretend I'm not here, okay? It's a little morning time game I like to play. I drink coffee, you do anything other than talk to me while I'm drinking my coffee. The campers slowly back away. It's probably not the first time Piper has given a directive like this, and proven that she means it. Putting a sheet over her head must be her way of trying to pretend that she's still in bed while also getting up to do her job. I like this lady's style. That's like me, coffee time. The truth has been spoken. Piper is looking tired and rampant with deep bags under her eyes. She looks a little like you do after a long night of working late with Gyepi to help brew her sweet berry wine. Yes, helping, that's exactly what I'm doing these late nights. That look I have in the morning is just me being tired. Tired from helping too much. Speaking of, I bet we can help your counselor out. If she feels like she looks, I've got a few remedies that always help me pull through. I'll lead you and you just go with it. You approach Piper slowly, as one would a dangerous animal or drowned. Power line. I know that technically speaking you're not here and I'm not talking to you, but I might be able to help you out with your morning rumblies. Piper takes a deep elaborate breath before looking in your direction. Mine morning rumblies? That's what my Gyepi calls it when my Uncle Norbert isn't feeling so hot in the morning. His stomach gets rumbly and makes him a little grumpy, so I guess that's how it became the grumblies. That's a lot for me to process right now, so rather than ask any more questions, I'm just gonna say sure, later make it. Fix my grumblies. Which of Nugget's secret techniques would you suggest to Piper? This might sound weird, have you tried poetry? Drink this. This one. Wow, the most complicated idea, go big or go home, I suppose? Norbert has this trick, which definitely sounds a bit strange, but he insists helps him shake the morning off. You see, as long as he's feeling disconnected, he just embraces it. If you can beat him, join him. Isn't that what they say? So all morning he walks backwards. For real, that sounds really difficult. Thanks to this... grumblies, I can barely walk forwards. Is Norbert some kind of acrobat? I actually think that's the point. By focusing all of your attention on something small like a single step, followed by another single step, it helps you maintain control and block out all of the other stuff. Now you're making too much sense, kid. Control will be excellent right about now. It actually sounds like a trick my dad told me once for dealing with the spins. He said that if you lay down in a bed and the ceiling is still spinning, you hang a leg over and put your foot on the floor to ground yourself in the room. I've gotten really dizzy before, but never so much that the whole room was spinning. Alright, adult problem, yeah, well, just tuck that one away then. Maybe it'd come in handy someday. Life comes at you fast. Here, this is for you. Pepper reaches into her pocket and fishes something out. She tosses it to you and you instinctively reach out to catch it. It's a new merit badge. This backwards badge is for those who won't be limited to simply moving forward backwards all the way, baby. Second badge. A confused duck. Okay. Pepper gets up, stretches out, and begins a very slow walk backwards off to breakfast. Left, right, left, right. When she's out of hearing distance, you hear snickering from your bag. Humans are so gullible, this medicinal honey in your bag might have actually helped, but that backwards walking trick was just for fun. Oh, and for your information, I've seen plenty of spinning sailings, and that foot on the floor thing never helped me. It seems that since Piper scared them off, the rest of the campers have congregated inside the boys' bank. You follow them inside to see what's up. A clump of kids stands at the bathroom door. As they peer in, a chorus of ews rolls through the group. Some campers make overdramatic gagging sounds and run away past you, one-upping each other regarding just how grossed out they truly are. What the hell are those? Prince, I think I might be sick. I'm gonna hurl. I'm gonna puke my guts up. I'm gonna vomit my whole face off until I have no face and there's only vomit where my face once was. Dude, too much! There's a pungent funk radiating from the room that is so thick and smelly you can almost see it hanging in there. Being the type to jump through a random portal in the woods, you're easily curious enough to handle a little summer camp stink. You edge up through the thinning crowd and begin. The bathroom is in two words separated by a hyphen, ultra nasty. What the hell? It's covered in slime, goo, and gunk, a trifecta of bleach. The smell reminds you of a jar of long-expired frog eyes you once dropped on the floor by accident. What? Goodness. Fumigating the entire first floor of the house in an instant. Ew. What kind of a strange human ritual could result in this? I expected these kids to be dirty, but this on another level. In your short time at camp, you've gotten the idea that human kids are actually a lot cleaner than witch kids. Despite what your mom had been telling you all along. After all, nobody's forcing them to collect worms and spider parts, though it's clear many of them choose to do so for fun. But here's a smell that brings you back to the witching realm, where bubbling cauldrons often send up a rather noxious vapors. Even for you, however, it is still harsh. After a moment, your eyes begin to water, and you have to duck out and close the door behind you. At least we know it's not a ghost in there, just some gross boys. How is that any better? Not a ghost? You're telling me you'd never heard of Slimer, one of the world's most famous ghosts? I was under the impression that Ghostbusters was a work of fiction, not a documentary. You're kidding yourself if you don't think paranormal beings can leave physical traces of the world of the living. Just look at the evidence. Poltergeist, The Ring, Beetlejuice. But I do think you're right, Sophie. This smells a lot more like some sort of zombie infestation to me. If it was brains they were after, you think they'd be in the girls' bank? Your zingers stink worse than that sludge, Ruby. Whatever, jealous. Feeling the pressure from the smell being a gap in the bank forces the rest of the campers back outside. It's not that I wouldn't be proud to destroy a bathroom like that, I would. But in this particular case, I just can't take credit. I once played 2 entire seasons of football in the same pair of lucky socks, and by the end, they weren't even half that bad. I once ate a burrito so big that you could park a mid-sized sedan in it. How is that even relevant? Was it a really smelly burrito or something? A blue cheese? And chili burrito? No, it was a normal burrito. It was just super big and really proud of that day. I think we're losing track of the mystery at hand here. What the heck happened in that bathroom? All this talk of burritos is making me hungry. But you're the only one talking about burritos. Burritos. The bros apparently content with this null resolution immediately starts running toward the dining hall where breakfast is about to be served. I'm not sure how anyone could be hungry right now, but the prospect of smelling bacon instead of smelling whatever happened in there is at least pretty appealing. I'll let you guys figure this one out. See you at breakfast. Yeah, Teddy's starving, I better go. Bacon. With the crowd thinking out well, before arriving at any decent conclusion, you're left to wonder what actually happened in there. And you'd be lying if all this talk of food wasn't making you hungry too. Now, if you took that blue cheese and chili burrito and wrapped it in bacon, that'd be something to brag about. Look at their face! Reminds me of Baba. It's been literally years since I've had bacon. Hi Gyepi, hi Carbon, hi. I did have it within the burgers of McDonald's, but I'm not sure how much that counts because those burgers are like sponge. I want to get some bacon now as well. On your way into the dining hall, you notice that there has been a change of plans regarding the morning's menu. The words Eggs Benedict on toast have been crossed out and replaced with burritos, scribbled in a child's handwriting with a single R. Please, if you've got any additional breakfast demands, save them for tomorrow. I'm steaming tortillas as fast as I can over here and there's no more time for last-minute requests. What happened to the eggs? What constitutes a mid-sized sedan? Let's talk back on rapid items. Where the egg goes? What happened to Eggs Benedict? 3 very insistent young men with burritos on the mind, chalk at the ready, and a surprisingly catchy burrito, yeah, shan't happen. But you know what they say about the best laid plans of mice and men? I thought his name was Worm. No, it's Norm. I understand that nobody reads anymore. You too, Carbon, reading Worm. You don't read enough, it seems. Joking. But haven't you at least heard that one on TV or in a movie? A tweet? A Twitch stream? What the hell? A Twitch stream it is? Well, spoiler alert, things don't always happen like we planned them. What about when squirrels make plans? Those never work out. You feel Nugget preparing to jump out of your bag to argue this fact, so you hold the zipper closed, ultimately proving Norm's point just to rub it in. Here's a plan you'll be happy you carried out. Eat this! Norm slides a plate down the counter at you. It's a perfect cylinder of food wrapped up tightly. When you sit down and take a bite, you find that it's filled with fluffy eggs, crispy potatoes and crumbled up sausage bits. Put a little of my homemade hot sauce on there, and it might just be the best burrito you've ever had. New plan, learn how to cook from Norm. His food is way better than anything your mom makes. Oh wee. Poor mom, that stings. Norm's burrito is nearly an out-of-body experience. You don't so much as eat it, as float up to the rafters of the dining hall and watch yourself eat it. When you snap back into it, you realize you've actually had 2 burritos in 3 minutes. Way faster than any of the other kids, though you did have some help from Nugget. As everyone else chows down, you take the chance to excuse yourself from the dining hall and sleep outside. I think you might be confused, the food is inside the building and not outside. Out here is just grass, and there are burritos. Hungry Nugget. Hungry little big round Nugget. And while they're eating, it's our chance to go back to the bank for a minute. Hope you enjoyed the emotes, baba. Is it now possible to use them? Oh, okay, you unlocked it. I see. I was about to ask if it's possible to use them if you're not subscribed. But yeah. No, I still need to stream many more times till it gets unlocked. I swear I'm gonna make it. So you will have all of the emotes. Like, as many as to fit in the slots, that is, in the slots. But breakfast got me thinking about when mom tries to force whatever stupid health food she's into on me back at home. It's not stupid, but, well, I guess it depends. Last summer she was all about seaweed. It was like so gross, it actually kind of smelled like that bathroom this morning, like exactly like it. No, all the more reason to steer clear then. But why would that smell be here? It doesn't make sense. Who would cook seaweed in a bathroom? A constipated sushi chef? Ew. The thing I'm having the hardest time comprehending is who would walk away from an all-you-can-eat burrito buffet? Come with me now and I promise you I'll learn how to make burritos later, otherwise I could just hand you over to Norm and ask him to take care of you. Not sure how he'd feel about orange fur getting in the food too. Nugget pulls half a burrito out of a pocket on his cheek. I knew not to trust you, so I packed it this way. You're not the only one with insights, you know. When you re-enter the bank, you find it just like you left it. They're probably just hoping the bank catches fire so that they never have to deal with it. Remember, nobody is asking you to do this. I know, but it just doesn't make sense. We've been around the other campers all day and all night. I really don't think any of them are responsible for this. And if that's the case, who or what is? You heard Sid and Sophie, they were talking about it and maybe being paranormal. I'm pretty sure that, to them, we're paranormal. If this connected to the witching realm, I want to know. I'm just starting to like this place. I don't want the whole thing turned upside down on me now without warning. You pull a fuzzy reddish-brown leaf out of your bag and rub it on the tip of your nose and then hand it to Nugget. Musk leaf? This is going to knock out your sense of smell for the entire rest of the day. We all have to make sacrifices. Why do I feel like the sacrifice here? You hold your face over a pile of dirty socks to see if it has taken effect. Might as well be a bouquet of flowers. Keeping tabs on you for your mother has never been so disgusting. If a face full of rancid socks isn't enough reason to head home right now, I don't know what is. This bathroom looks like something out of a sci-fi film. There's green sludge coating the shower, oozing across the tiles and down the drain. Large slimy footprints lead from the shower out of the room, as if someone made a hasty exit before they finished cleaning up. Is that a shampoo bottle? It's hard to tell, since the label is coated in filth. But if it is, there's a good chance it belonged to our slimy suspect. What then would you like to look closer at? This one. Something seems to be caught in here, and it's stopping this goop from getting down the drain. It looks like a clump of seaweed was wrapped around the grate. Washing off after a late night swim, maybe? You'd have to be digging for clams to end up with this wrapped around you. What then would you like to look closer at? Mila is the name of her mother. You wipe away some of the slime covering the shampoo bottle to get a closer look at the label. You're so surprised by what you see, you almost drop the bottle onto your own foot. Mom? A glamorous shot of Mila stares back at you from the bottle in your hand. You immediately recognize the photo. It's from your mother's short-lived beauty brand, Aura by Mila. One of Mila's rare missteps, the brand launched early in her career but was quickly discounted. It was discovered that one of the main ingredients caused rapid full-body hair growth when exposed to the light of a full moon. Most of the leftover stock was sold off to the werewolf, who enjoyed the lustrous shine it left on their fur. Other non-furry customers weren't nearly so charitable too. A few leftover boxes of the stuff have been sitting in your basement ever since. I know this stuff was still in circulation. I wonder what it's doing here. Oh, Aura by Mila? Rub a little of that in my fluff, will ya? My shin has been fading ever since we got to the human realm. A successful beauty regimen never rests. What then would you like to look closer at? The last one, the brains. Piper, ew. You track the number of large greenish smudges on the floor, leading from the shower to the front door of the bank. There's something quite suspicious about the size of the footprints and the distance between them. Those footprints are enormous. I doubt it would be any kind of human who made this. See, there's more to this than we thought. And you think that factoid is going to make me happy? This is my summer vacation too, you know? And playing kid detective isn't how I imagined I'd be spending it. You take a step back and try to put these details together, but they still don't tell a clear story. Just then, Nugget jumps to attention and peers out the door of the bathroom. Shh! You hear that? I think we're alone in here. I mean, really, who would stand the smell without numbing their nose? I'm going to cast a couple spells to see if I can get to the bottom of this. But you keep an eye out and just scream like a total wuss if you see that someone is coming. Gee, thanks. Alright, this calls for... Cast a history spell on the shampoo. Cast an enlarging spell on the seaweed. Shampoo. Okay, let's see where you came from, Aura by Mila. You opened your grimoire, up to a history spell. Alright, I have to trace it. Pictoplast. Okay. Bubble... Grimoire. Search invoke fate. A window to the past opens in front of you, so it can see a search engine. You can see who but someone begins to type. Best shampoo for delicate skin. It backspaces a bit and types again. Best shampoo for scaly skin. Best shampoo for extremely scaly skin. It paused for a moment before submitting. Best shampoo for extremely scaly skin plus flower scent. Best shampoo for extremely scaly skin plus flower scent plus on sale. Wow, that was helpful, I guess. Alright, this calls for... Cast an enlarging spell on the seaweed. You reach down into the drain and gingerly lift a dripping wet strand of seaweed out. It must be the longest piece of seaweed you've ever seen. You open your grimoire, up to an enlarging spell. Okay. Swell sight. Whee! me a little swirl. Na, 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 na. It looks like a snail house. Okay. The seaweed grows to 10 times its size, resulting in a vine that would look typical hanging off of Jack's beanstalk. It looks like that spell affected more than just the seaweed itself. What were formerly greenish small specks clinging to the seaweed are now the size of silver witch dollars. Scales? Did they get trucked in from the lake with the seaweed, or did they get scrubbed off of whoever was cleaning up in here? You pluck one of the scales off of this giant sea vine, rinse it under some clean water and slip it into your pocket. Then you drop the rest to the floor, where it shrinks back down to normal size. A slow creaking sound echoes through the bank, startling at you. Nugget, is that you? Returned to the scene of the crime, have we? I think someone is coming for your information. Great, thanks for the heads up, Nugget. Someone has caught you nosing around the boys' bathroom with no place to hide. You have to step out into the bank to face your accuser. Good luck. Todd Frittata, boys' head counselor, stands between you and the doorway out of the boys' bank. A bit early in the summer to start pulling pranks, isn't it? Pranks? Jacuzzi. Jack used what? Don't play dumb with me, newbie. I know dumb all too well. So you're gonna confess? You notice a glimmer in Todd's eye. He doesn't appear to be upset just yet. But there's no way of knowing how he'd react if he found out you were a witch. It seems that the detective has become the prime suspect. You have to think fast to draw Todd's attention away from your investigation before you're found out. How will you respond? I'm not sure what you mean. Well, it looks like you caught me. Later, dude. Later, you size up Todd, comparing his relative position and perspective. Straight at this distance between you and the door. He's a lot bigger than you and presumably faster, but if you catch him off guard, maybe you can get out before he grabs you. It's a drastic course of action, but there isn't much else you can do. He's too close for you to pull off a spell that might stop him. Your body tenses up, about to bounce forward and sprint. Then inspiration strikes. Oh my! You point behind Todd out the doorway. Look out, it's coming right at us! Todd spins around, looking everywhere. Who? What? Don't you see that crazy squirrel running right for us? You reach into your bag and grab Nugget. While Todd is distracted, you pull Nugget out and whisper, "Just go with me here." He's climbing up the wall now and jumping. You toss Nugget in a wide arc through the air at Todd. He lands on Todd's shoulder. The two are nose to nose. Todd freezes. No sudden movements. Me and this little dude are locked in a death stare. One wrong move and he'll rip my face off and stuff it into his adorable little cheeks. Maybe if we stand here perfectly still, it will live on its own. Don't worry, Todd, I've got a plan. You thrust your hand into your bag and pull out an acorn and hold it into the air above your head. Follow me, squirrel! I've got what you want. For Eldred McGrapkin's honor, I sacrifice myself. You run past Todd out the door. Nugget jumps down and follows. Todd calls out behind you. It's too fast, you'll never outrun it. You quickly duck the corner and do a lap around the bank. When you return, Todd is on the deck. You pant as though you're exhausted, laying it on extra thick. Just run to the woods and back. Tossed the nuts and lost the squirrel a little ways ago. Squirrel? More like a hedgehog. The speed that thing moved, I never saw it coming. It was like a blur. Man, a blur. It's incredible that you were able to outrun it. It's a gift, I guess. You're telling me I really owe you one, kid. Your diversionary tactic has paid off. Todd has completely forgotten about the prank. He reaches into his cargo shorts pocket and digs something out for you. It's a new merit badge. Only the fleetest of feet and swiftest of sprinters run away with this badge. Sweet, third badge. Okay. It's time to join up with the rest of the campers. We should head over to the camp center. I must say, that's a fine collection of badges you've got going. Alright, munchkins, you know the drill. Before you slip into breakfast food comas, we gotta get you shuttled off to a morning activity. Lil, you did find a job of choosing yesterday. You know what they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? No one has ever actually said that to you before. Your options are arts and crafts, camp radio, or whoopee witchy history. And cinnamon buns, I'm gonna end the stream here, but before that, I'm gonna pick something. Okay, let's go with the arts and crafts. Okay. Please do stay for the raid, cinnamon buns. I will possibly be streaming tomorrow as well. So, save. I don't want the autosaves, honestly. Wait. Okay, there we go. I hope you enjoyed this stream once again, and that you are as well curious as much as me, at the very least, about the story here, because I want to see where this is going. I think at this camp we're gonna discover something very important about our family, as they mentioned before, and that mother was frightened at the idea of us being at that summer camp. So now, let's proceed with seeing home trade. Let's see, give me a moment, cinnamon buns. I'm still having a bit of sleep issues, but I am slowly managing to fix them. As in, my sleep schedule is not proper, but I'm managing to sleep. So now I'm trying to make my schedule a proper one. That way I could stream for more time as well. So, let me see. Let me see who's streaming right now. By the way, cinnamon buns, once I do complete the games I'm currently playing, it will take quite a while, but if I fix my schedule, I'll be able to host longer streams so that it won't take that much actually. I'll then begin the Ace Attorney game, because if you do remember, some of you did participate to the poll that was shared upon my Discord server and on Twitter, and Ace Attorney did win. I never played it before, but I saw that many of you recommended it highly to me, so that's gonna be it as soon as possible. We also don't have to complete Arthur just yet. Okay, we're gonna raid an artist. A VTuber artist whom I just found right now. Please do remember to spam over the message keep your raid for a Gyepi day, so that they will have a Gyepi day. And let's go with the raid. We're gonna see each other tomorrow if everything goes well, okay? Thank you for stopping by, cinnamon buns. It is always appreciated to have your company over here. I had plenty of time and I'm super glad for your support. See you very soon. Bye bye!